Welcome back to the B-Main once again, episode number 16. Let's get right into it with the headlines for this week's episode. Ryan Timms becomes the youngest winner in Knoxville Nationals history. The sprint car silly season may be the biggest headline of them all. Gio Scelzi, all of them around. We heard that 2 weeks ago. And of course, we got Donnie Schatz out after 18 years at TSR. And we got AD steals a spot up in the playoffs. Landen Lewis in the Cars Tour, closing the gap to Connor Hall in the Cars Tour Championship. A lot of different championship battles all throughout dirt and asphalt racing. And of course, Jonathan Davenport wins $50K at Gavin's own home racetrack. We got that. A lot of other stuff, NASCAR in there, a lot of controversial stuff that you might have seen in the past 2 weeks. We've got it all for you right here on episode 16 of the B-Main. Let's get it started with all the dirt action.
Well, Scott, I've had a busy week, and I actually got to be at the racetrack last week at Richmond, but I really want to talk about dirt first because Ryan Timms winning the Knoxville Nationals, that was awesome. Holy cow.
Yeah, what domination. I mean, pure domination.
I expected him to be a good car there. He's running there full time. He's starting to get momentum at the national level this year. But to get your first World of Outlaws win at the Knoxville Nationals
is the biggest race of the year.
I mean, this reminds me a lot of when Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, very similar circumstances, very similar scenarios. I mean, Kyle Larson won his prelim night, so I thought Kyle Larson was obviously the favorite. When he won on Thursday night, I was like, okay, this is going to be the Kyle Larson show like it's been the last 2 years here in Knoxville. It'll be a good race, I'm sure, but, he's going to find a way to win, and it just didn't work out that way. Ryan Timms led every single lap. This kid's the future of sprint car racing, I think. I've said that about a lot of people, but when you're 18 years old and win the Knoxville Nationals, you're something. He is something, and he's great.
Yeah, I mean, it really impressive, and we probably expect to see him making a lot more World of Outlaws starts. We know he's been regularly running at Knoxville, and we'll probably expect to see him maybe full-time next year. I don't know if it'd be with his team, maybe full-time with another team he gets a ride. But, I mean, when you go and win your first Knoxville National start, there's going to be a lot of eyes on you. So I think if he wanted to run full-time, that an opportunity would be open. Because, I mean, we just talked about it. Silly season might be one of the craziest it's been in the World of Outlaw sprint cars in years, maybe in the past decade.
I mean, it's the craziest one I remember, which I haven't been watching that long, but it is just, and it's weird how it all started with an injury. Like, injuries aren't something we want to talk about being.
No.
I mean, obviously they are a bad thing that we should try to avoid happening at all costs, and I'm grateful for all the safety measures, but Tyler Courtney's injury really was the first domino to fall.
Yeah.
And that has led up to, I don't even know how to describe what I thought when Donnie Schatz got canned at Tony Stewart Racing. Like, what? I mean, okay, I get it. He's getting older. He hasn't won yet this year. He only won, I think, 2 or 3 times last year. He's starting to slow down.
Yeah.
Everyone has acknowledged that. Everyone has seen that.
Yeah.
But
you'd think by this point and what he's done and how long he's been there that he'd get the chance to go out on his own terms
and finish the season.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, it's a week-old headline, and I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out what went down.
Yeah. Well, and yes, you could say he's on the decline, but it's not like he's running bad. I think the only thing he's really missing is winning races. We still see him running in the top 10, close to the top 5. And, of course, as a team, you're always going to be wanting to perform for the win. But when you got a driver that's been there for 18 years and still performing like he does at his age, it's still impressive. Now, again, I get it for Tony, and it's like, hey, we want to compete for the wins. But I don't know. It feels a little disrespectful to Donnie just for him to not be able to, for them to say, hey, we're thinking about this, and give him time to maybe find another ride or another team, or say, hey, we're thinking about this. Do you want to retire or do you want to keep racing? Like, because then if he wants to retire, he can say, hey, I'm going to go out on my terms. Or if he wants to keep racing, saying, hey, we're going to part ways. It's been an excellent ride, but I want to keep racing. I'm not done. So I don't know. I thought it was a little disrespectful to Donnie, just that he's been there for so long and done so much for them.
And I know they're probably going to look for a new driver at the end of the season, but replace him with Kerry Madsen, who is not a bad driver at all. He's won races with the World of Outlaws. He's won a Kings Royal, but you're replacing Donnie Schatz, who hasn't been performing like he used to perform, with Kerry Madsen, who also is kind of in that same between 5th and 10th every week kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't. If you're going to replace somebody mid-season, I would have expected him to be bringing in somebody who's winning right now.
Right. And that's why.
Or somebody young.
I think that's why it's so surprising to both of us and most of the sprint car world that it was a mid-season switch. Because you think about it, in the off-season, contracts expire. You look for the driver that is getting those wins, or in that, try to pull Carson Macedo and try to say, hey, we've got a ride for you. And, I don't think Carson Macedo
I don't know
would
if
leave
that's
his team.
going to happen.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. You try to convince somebody. You try to say, hey, you're doing well. You're winning races. You try to convince maybe Corey Day, even though he runs with his own team. You never know. Anyone
probably most likely running.
I know.
Most likely running trucks next year. Like,
I know. I'm just saying, anyone that is of high performing caliber, and I'm not saying Dave because he is doing that, but like anyone, you try to bring them in. But you can't do that mid-season because they're in their current rides.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I kind of see whoever goes to the 15 is all going to depend on how Gio does in substitution for Tyler Courtney. I think whoever gets the ride there with Clausen Marshall, whoever gets it, whoever's out is probably going to be in the 15 between Gio and Tyler Courtney.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I can see that playing out that way.
Because how long has Courtney run with that 7BC team?
At least 3 years, so more than I've been watching sprint car racing.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm not going to claim to know things I don't know.
Yeah,
but
well, I think we probably see him back
Tyler
in the car.
Courtney. Yeah, I assume Tyler Courtney's going to be back. So I think Gio right now probably is going to be Tony Stewart's number one target. I don't know the details of the Emerson Axum deal in the 18 car. I don't know if he's
doing pretty good.
If that's a end of 2025 thing, if that's a through 26, we don't know. Maybe he goes find somebody from the West Coast, find somebody from Pennsylvania who's running in the big money races there, but not on a national tour. If he goes young or if he goes experienced, there's a lot of ways you can go about this.
Well, and you just mentioned, possible drivers, talking about Spencer Baston. He's out of a ride, too.
And I don't think his performance has been good, but Tony Stewart is going to go after an A-list sprint car driver. I mean, there is a very short list of drivers. I think he's going to go. You have to be a top 15 sprint car driver in the world right now and probably under 30 years old. And when you look at both of those,
there's
like not very many.
9 people.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a very big list of drivers to choose from, and a lot of them are in a very stable situation with their teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see. I'm interested to see how that works. But you just mentioned Spencer Baston. He's out of a ride right now on the West Coast swing for High Limit. He is running Paul Silva's car that Kyle Larson usually runs. Kyle's staying with NASCAR during the High Limit West Coast swing. But the car's actually got a big W on it instead of the 57. I don't know. I just thought that was cool. But it's just interesting to see who these two teams choose, who they go after, what drivers are kind of going to be on their radar. I think Jason Myers is probably going to go after a great but not super, super elite driver. If I'm a team owner, I got to go young, though. I don't think Donnie Schatz goes to the Jason Myers team. And that's another thing about Donny Schatz. Even though you're a great, amazing driver, at the age he's at, what teams are going to take a chance on a guy like that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of
It's an
movement. We're just going to have to keep watching it because I think there's no
Yeah.
answers right now.
No, and it's such a wild situation in the sprint car world. It's just weird to me to be watching the silly season unfold in August and not in December.
Yeah.
Because we're used to a NASCAR playoff start September, end of September, start of October, season's winding down. That's when the rumors start, but no moves are, made till the off season. And I've been used to that my whole life as a race fan, and
Yeah.
watching this year in sprint cars, mid-season, one domino falls and just the whole tower comes crashing down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's all wild, and we'll just have to see.
You can't predict it, honestly.
No. Want to talk about JD?
Jonathan Davenport dominated the Topless 100. Brandon Sheppard showed a lot of speed again, led the first 35 laps, had a mechanical issue. JD just grabbed the lead and ran away with it for the rest of the race.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil standings, do we have those right now?
Yep, I got him. JD at the top by 55 over RTJ. Back from that, it's Hudson O'Neal in third, 390 points out. So pretty much your champion will be JD or RTJ.
I think Hudson O'Neal's got a chance. I'm not 100% sure if they're doing 2024's finals format or 2023's.
Yeah, I don't know how they do the points or the finals format.
Well, they've changed it 2 years in a row, and I'm not sure what it is this year because they've kept it pretty quiet. Who's sitting in fourth right now? Is Moran still in fourth?
Yep.
And I assume it's a big gap back to fifth.
Yeah, big gap to Sheppard. About 220 between Moran and Sheppard.
I mean, you have the top two, and then it's everyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, impressive for O'Neal and Sheppard to be doing what they're doing right now. I would say they're two that had a rough start to the season in terms.
I mean, we talked about how. Yep. We talked about how straight up. I'm just going to straight up say we talked about how bad they were for 3 months.
Yeah. Well,
and every episode we got on here, and we
talked
were
about
like,
how good Moran was, and then now Moran, he's doing okay, and Sheppard and O'Neal are really up on the move. So it's just kind of how it goes. And then you've got my boy Brandon Overton. He's only got the one win this year. He's had a lot of sponsorship movement. I think that might have come into play.
The Dude Wipes cars right now.
I know. So I wonder what happened in Napa. I love the Napa look. I really did. I miss the Napa look.
Point standing aside, I think the Dude Wipes car is the best looking one he's driven.
I haven't seen the look of it yet because I wasn't able to watch Topless 100. But also, speaking of Topless 100, I saw some beef going on some flow clips between, I don't remember who was talking about it, but somebody, who was it? Oh, it was Alberson. I think he was really,
it was on a prelim night.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was prelim night. Alberson. I know what you're talking about, and I'm blanking on it right now, but I did see it yesterday.
But anyway, fans, you might have seen it as well on Flow Racing and their highlights. But
people are not happy with the way Garrett Alberson is racing them right now.
Yeah. So, but I love this fight between JD and RTJ, Hudson O'Neal getting in the mix. These top five, I mean, it's really, honestly, a lot of the top 10 here that I'm looking at the points, they all – It's fun to watch all of them race against each other. I would say the Lucas Oil Late Model Series is one of the best for dirt late model racing. I mean, these are absolutely some of the best, and I think you and I are pretty much always entertained when we get to watch them.
I'm never not entertained by watching some dirt late models. Speaking of late models, let's jump into asphalt because there's some things going on in the cars tour that I thought this race this weekend was pretty good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I would have to say the same thing. Anderson, I thought it was great. A lot like Caraway.
I really liked it.
A lot like Caraway and how it races, but I loved the look and the thought of how it raced. Like I was thinking about it from a driver perspective as well, just about how the drivers were feeling. Really, really tight corners, decent length straightaways. But, I mean, you really had to crank the wheel and get deep into that corner. You couldn't just shove it in. You really had to slow it up, let it rotate, gas off the corner. and I think we saw a lot of great
Turn 4
passing
is a
because of it.
big trouble spot.
Yeah, well, and
A
especially with
lot of action in turn 4.
the concrete up on turn 3 that kind of changed the track through the midweek with all the rain. But I thought we saw a lot of great battles. One driver that I wanted to mention was Carson Loftin. I think you and I were questionable at the beginning of the season about why he was in that ride and what the goal was. And I got to talk to him. I think I mentioned this at the Thunder Road Harley Davidson 200 and just kind of asked him about what his goals were with Nelson. And he was just talking about, this is a route I want to go. I've been successful in the modifieds, but I want to make a name for myself. And I think he has really, really improved over this season running with them in the Cars Tour. He started off, I think the first race at New River, he did decent. But after that, it really wasn't some great runs for him, kind of outside the top 15, not quite cracking the top 10. And although he didn't finish in the top 10 in this race, he was racing in the top 10 for quite a while. But think about Hickory. He was racing in the top 5 for most of that race until he got caught up in that big incident with Landen Lewis and all them. I think he's shown some really good racecraft. And for a driver who is, well, a lot of drivers, especially early on in his career, and he's still young, but would get very frustrated with him because he would race people very hard. And I would compare him a lot to maybe Carson Hocevar in the aggressiveness of how he might drive and how racers and other fans might view that. But I would say that he is learning a lot from his competitors around him, and I think he has a great possibility to maybe move up the ranks someday.
Yeah, I really want to talk about some of the action we saw in turn 4, some of the saves, specifically Jade Avedizian's save. I mean,
that was impressive.
That might have been in turn 1 and 2, actually.
It was. I think she was battling with Ben Mayer, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, she was battling with Ben Mayer, and I don't think it was malicious conduct, just a normal racing deal. But that car was pointed towards the inside wall. It wasn't a little bit sideways. It was all the way sideways.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's making her ARCA debut this weekend, by the way.
Oh, that's this weekend? Okay, I knew it was soon.
No, next weekend.
Okay. I knew it was
next
soon.
Weekend.
I knew it was soon.
Yeah,
so,
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, me too. That is going to be good. Then you had, who was it? Ben Mayer and McKee get into each other, and they nearly wrecked each other.
That messed up the whole race. I mean, that messed up the whole race.
Out of the lead.
They're battling 1 and 2, and they just barrel off into turn 1. And they're like, let's both miss the corner.
Yeah. Well, and it opened the door for Baldwin, and then Baldwin never looked back.
Yeah, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Luke Baldwin in that race. He did everything right and just waiting, taking care of his car, knowing early on in the race, don't worry about it. We're either going to get a competition caution or get a natural caution, which he got the natural one. And then when he got the lead, he had a little bit more of his equipment to work with and just ran away with the race. Huge margin of victory.
Yeah. Yeah, he just didn't look back. And there's not much more you can say. He made a comment about what he had said about Spencer Davis at Hickory, and he really went back on what he said because I think a lot of what he said was really in the moment. And I thought that was really respectable of him and saying that, hey, it was just racing. And in the moment I was mad, and I looked back, and, it wasn't a big deal. You mentioned talking about the points for late model stocks, and they are heating up because that race was quite wild.
What's the points gap now? I know Lewis won, and he was 10 back.
Let me look. Let's see. Late model stock standings. He was 10 back. I think he was a little farther back than that because it is now. This is after Hickory. So they haven't updated it, which is really surprising. He was 12 back after Hickory. So
and he won the race.
He won the race, and Hall finished 5th. So I want to say the gap is probably 7. Yeah.
I don't know what the bonus points are for winning a race.
I don't either, but it's probably 6
or
7. Less than 7. So I think
if you're
4
the team
more
owners
races to go.
If you're team owner and crew chief, what mentality do you have kind of having to take the reins and lead both of these teams? What are you telling your driver?
To either one of them?
It's to both of them. Like, what are you telling in both situations? What are you telling Landen Lewis,
Okay.
knowing that you have to catch Connor Hall? And Connor Hall is in a junior motorsports car. He is one of the best short track drivers in the country and extremely experienced. What do you tell Landen Lewis, who is also in a great car, a lot younger and really hungry?
Yeah.
How do you keep him from making mistakes trying to chase Connor Hall?
I think that Lewis has got to be able to look at the bigger picture. We've mentioned the mindset of a champion, and you can't just look at it one race at a time. You have to be able to zoom out, and you have to be doing that while you're driving. You have to be able to do it in a race. You have to say, instead of going for the win, I have to settle for third because it's going to be good points. That's what I would talk about for Landen Lewis. He's got the car to compete at the front. He's got the talent to compete at the front, but I think he has been his biggest enemy in terms of getting good results. I mean, if you change what happened at Hickory, if you give him a fifth-place finish, and I think one of his other run-ins, I can't remember what it was, but you change two of his probably biggest run-ins of the season. Again, I can't draw back to what that was. He's in the lead. He has done better than Hall to that point. So I think you're your biggest worst enemy in that aspect, and you've got to get a handle on it. You got to pull in the reins. For Connor Hall, I would say you've got obviously the talent and the car to win. You've got to find a way to do it. He has had a great season, but he hasn't won since the beginning of the season. He hadn't won since Cordeal, which was back in April. I mean, that was a while ago. That was 4 months ago. And this team has been doing well. They had great momentum after winning the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200, finishing second at Langley in the Hampton Heat for the Virginia Triple Crown.
And he's coming off a top 5. It's not like he's doing bad right now.
Exactly, but that's the thing. For him, with Landen Lewis now really in the game, Hall has to be competing for podiums. A fifth place is not good enough. It's not going to be good enough with Landen Lewis competing how he is. So you've got to not light a fire under Hall, but give him a continued motivation and saying, hey, you could do this. Because I think one of their biggest problems has been qualifying.
Yeah,
and I say that they qualified fourth, but you got to be qualifying on the pole.
Yeah, and another thing with Connor Hall, this is what I'm going to be telling him from my point of view. Landen Lewis cannot get more points than you if you win the race. And Landen, you have been able to count on Landen Lewis making a mistake once out of every 5 or 6 races all year. You don't know if that's coming. You can't bank on Landen Lewis making a mistake. But when you have a driver that is almost as fast as you, or arguably faster than you, you have to know you are the more experienced of the two drivers. You don't make mistakes here. If you run in the top, if Connor Hall doesn't make mistakes, he's a top 3 car every race.
Yeah.
And you have to force Landen Lewis to force the issue. Because if you're running top 2 or 3, Landen Lewis can't points race. He can't settle for a top 5.
Yeah. No, you can't.
You make Landen Lewis drive harder. Make him outdrive himself.
Yep.
Is what I'm telling Connor Hall.
Yep.
You are as good as he is. You have the lead. You control how Landen Lewis races.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to tell Connor Hall.
Yep. Well, and I say all that to say Hall's doing amazing, and he's an excellent driver, but he finally, and I say finally, he's got his best opportunity, his best shot to win the championship. In years past, he's had guys like Quapple and Brendan Queen that have just been a tick better, and he's been bouncing around. He was at Nelson for a little while. He was running other places before that. He's really clicked with this junior motorsports group, and this is his best opportunity. But I think they've just had some misses throughout the season that just haven't quite been good enough. They've been able to barely hold on to the championship lead, but you'd expect them to be farther at this point with everyone else behind them having so many problems. So I think Hall absolutely can do it. They just got to buckle down in these last 4 races.
He's the favorite, and we have to talk about him like he's an underdog.
Exactly, because I think we expect him to win this championship.
It's like, let's roll back the clock. It's like if Jimmy Johnson didn't have a huge lead in 2009. It's like one of those years where Jeff Gordon or Carl Edwards was right on his tail, and we're like, just put him away. That's
Yeah.
all you have to do is put him away, and he just hasn't been able to do it. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's mindset, aggression, but I know that we talk about points racing, talk about championship racing. People on social media, NASCAR media members, a lot of times don't like to talk about points racing. And
Yeah.
I don't really like to either. But if Connor Hall goes for the win and doesn't think about points, if he attacks, Landen Lewis can't catch him.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And so I love that there's a battle up front. I'm glad that we're seeing this battle because it means that the drivers have to push each other. The teams have to keep pushing. It's really great when we get to have a battle like this, and we got a great battle throughout the mid pack as well. Also, let's not overlook the 4 of Cade Brown. With everything that has happened, after Hickory, he was 14 points back. So let's see where he finished. He finished 8th at Anderson. And so
he's slipping a little bit.
He's slipping a little bit, but he's still in the conversation. I think he's definitely still in this conversation. You could say that Mini Tyrell might be. I think Connor Hall and Landen Lewis would have to have big, big problems for Tyrell to be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the crashes earlier at Dominion not Dominion. I can't remember where it was, Orange County and other places, Tyrell's really out of it. And I hate that because I think Tyrell is probably one of everybody's favorite drivers. I think no matter who your driver is, you're also partially rooting for Mini Tyrell. You think about what could have been for the 81 team, the family-owned team, that if he hadn't wrecked Orange County and one or two other things go a little bit better in a race, and you say what if, you could say what if for any driver, you wonder if he could be fighting with Landen Lewis or Connor Hall, because I think he absolutely would be.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, and you can maybe count them out of the championship now, but you got to look at guys like Landon Huffman and Doug Barnes who are having good years, and Landon Huffman especially putting good runs together late in the season.
Landon Huffman and this Carroll Speed Shot team, they have, I said it earlier, they have truly found it. And the only thing they are missing is that win. And I think, but they have great momentum. And I think they're having one of their best years to date. And this is really good for Huffman. I think a lot of people like him. Everybody loves his social media presence. We'd still love to get him on. I know he's been in and around. We tried to get him after Hickory. It just didn't quite work out. But, I mean, he is really doing great with that team. And I'm loving it between them. I'd love to see him get another win.
Well, yeah, championship battles that we can talk about how close the championship is with 5 races to go in the season. I'm just saying, it's fun to talk about when there's a close championship. And there's close championships in a lot of series right now.
Yeah, well, you'd love to see it.
Love to see it. But one thing we don't love to see, Boneheads of the Week. Well, they might not like to be it. We might like to see it, actually.
That is very true. I gotta let's give it to you. I'm gonna go to you.
I'm gonna go with, it's kind of a group effort here, and I don't think it's really a bonehead move, but it was just a mistake that led to a funny thing. The 23 crew at Richmond didn't quite have the left front all the way on the car when Bubba pulled out of the pit stall. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, that's a huge bonehead move, but it was so funny to watch the wheel fall off. Bubba realized what's happening, pull in the 19's pit box, who is another Toyota car, and the 19 crew pitting the 23 car was just so funny.
Yeah. Which we've seen before. We saw it, I think, either earlier this year or last year, but it's just not something you see often, and it's very bonehead because I think the 23 could have been in the conversation to win.
I mean, it really did cost him to win that race. But, I mean, I'm not going to say, yeah, pit mistakes happen. That's not on – I'm not going to say it's on the tire changer. I'm not going to say it's on the driver. It's a group team, just a simple mistake, not really, oh, wow, what an idiot. It was just so funny to watch him slide into someone else's pit box, the tire rolling behind him, bounce off the back of the car.
Yeah.
it was just the whole situation is just funny whenever you see a car pit in someone else's box.
Yeah.
What's your bonehead? What do you have here?
I'm going to have to go, and we'll get into this conversation, obviously, probably pretty soon. We won't talk too much on it because I think it's been talked about a lot, but I'm going to have to – I think I'm back-to-backing on Austin Hill and a little bit of a bonehead move at Watkins Glen, getting into it with Michael McDowell. I'm not going to be as hard on him but you know that the spotters are in a tough position. It's more of a racing stuff, but I only say it's really a bonehead move just because he's already
Because it's
in
Austin
the
Hill.
fire. He's in the fire right now, and he did not do himself any favors with that sketchy move.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start. We're getting close to the part of the season. We're gonna have to start talking about bonehead and badass of the year, and not bonehead and badass of the week.
Oh my gosh! Hey, we're also in our next episode going to have to name the race of the month for August.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Well, hey, we'll make a list later on and maybe post it for the fans in a voting poll of possible races of the month.
Do a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
Do a Twitter poll for it.
All right,
all of our
badass
fans
move.
out there.
What you got?
I mean, Ryan Timms, the 18-year-old leading all 50 laps
Yep.
at the Knoxville Nationals. I don't think there was another choice for me anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few small moves and cool things that happened, but I mean, what's more badass than winning the Knoxville Nationals when you're 18 years old?
Yeah, your first go, being youngest to do it, not much. I'm going to give a big high five to Isaac Kitzmiller in the Cars Tour Pro Late Model race at Anderson from 16th to 2nd. That is really impressive. I saw him in the back of the field at the start and was really surprised because Isaac Kitzmiller is one we expect to be competing in the top 5 in that Rackley War car. And he proved that even though he didn't start in the top 5, that he could finish in the top 5. And he was able to overtake Seth Christensen right near the line after he was having some overheating problems. And he was the fastest car on track for, I think, the last 20 laps. So Luke Baldwin was saving, but Isaac Kitzmiller had a really, really great run and proving that he's well-suited in that Rackley War car.
He just seems to be a driver that's been getting better every week, too. Every week I watch him in the Pro Late Model, he seems better than he was the last race. Every time I watch him in an ARCA car, he seems a little bit better. And he's starting to be a driver with me where I'm not going to say he's like a top prospect yet, but he is working his way silently up the rankings of prospects in NASCAR right now. He is just steadily getting better every time he is on the track.
Yeah. I would have to.
I think there's a lot of upside. I think there's a lot of upside with Kitzmiller, and also to be sharing a team, to be teammates with your dad. How cool is that got to be?
I know. I love it. I love to get to see them.
Every time I watch them together, I just smile every time I get to see them racing together.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's really cool. I think they said at some point they'd love to run trucks together. I don't think Jason would be full time, but just do some offhand starts. But I think it's really cool. I think we're really going to focus on Richmond, but did you want to move over to Watkins Glen real quick?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of father and son, before I went to Richmond, Wednesday night, I got to go to Millbridge.
Yes.
First time Kyle and Owen Larson shared the track together in winged micro race at Millbridge. What a cool story.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to talk to Kyle just very briefly before the race, and then I got to talk to him again Saturday at Richmond, and he was just very happy getting to race with Owen. It was funny. Saturday, he mentioned to me that he was kind of disappointed in Owen's performance. He was like, I kind of thought he would do better. He usually does a little bit better at Millbridge. And I said, well, I mean, one thing I was impressed by him is when Kyle lapped him, instead of Owen just keeping down and keep doing what he was doing, he went and started mirroring the exact line his dad was running and started picking off a few cars as a lapper.
Huh.
And it was just the racecraft of an 11-year-old to be able to say, oh, here's my dad, who's probably the best sprint car driver in the world. We're in a micro. It's a little bit different, but I'm going to do exactly what he's doing, and it's probably going to work.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. He's younger. Excited to see his possible development. But I love when you get to tell stories about you just talking with all these drivers. I mean, I really do, because I love talking to all the drivers at Sobo, and it's so much fun. And that's one thing that makes me excited about hopefully moving up the chain someday. Maybe working for Car Store, being an announcer there, and maybe hopefully someday NASCAR. Because I've found that one of my favorite things is just getting to talk to drivers and hearing their stories, not only just about their stuff on the racetrack, but just their life. Like you getting to talk to Larson about his son Owen and what they think about him.
And that's another. I really like talking to drivers about stuff that's not racing.
Yeah,
We got to talk to Chase Briscoe for a very brief minute about the Indianapolis Colts of all things. We talked about NFL training camp. We talked about football. That was a cool moment this weekend. Funny story while we're talking about talking to drivers. I was over at, this was Friday. I was at the Tricon haulers. Just, I've spoken to Brent Cruz once or twice. I know Tanner Gray through Coleman Presley, Joey Spotter. And so I went to talk to Tanner, and then Brent and Gio Ruggerio were over there. And I was, just mentioning the B main to Brent and Gio, and mentioned you and Tim both as co-host. And Gio said, "Ask Tim about getting suspended a couple years ago at Five Flags." It's like instead of asking, "Oh, I think I might know him. We've raced once or twice together," they just asked Timothy about getting suspended.
Oh yeah, that was a tough, a funny story. And Tim, we'll have to get Tim to regale that one to the fans at some point. He it was a small little incident, and it was a while ago, but every driver gets hot under the helmet at some point.
He might have lost some respect from one driver, but I think he gained some fans from it, from what he says.
Oh, he's usually pretty close-lipped, and so when he says stuff, it matters. So let's talk about
speaking of that, I got to hang out with Timothy.
Oh, I know.
Got to hang out last week.
I know. I hated that all three of us couldn't be together.
Yeah, I know. You had to go to Missouri.
I know. Well, and then I had to go to Sobo.
And it got me thinking, you being in Missouri got me thinking, your only experience with Arkansas is I-55.
Driving through it. Yeah.
And the part of Arkansas that's on I-55 is not the most desirable place to be.
Yeah, no.
You have a very negative outlook on the state of Arkansas.
But see, that's the thing. I don't really have many thoughts about it because I know I've only been to the interstate part. I know I haven't experienced Arkansas, so I've kind of negated my opinions because there really aren't any. Because I'm just oh yeah, I drive through there.
That's fair.
So, speaking of road trips and driving, this is a part of it for you.
What you got?
I was talking about your time with Tim being on the road.
Yeah, so a week and a half ago, after the Watkins Glen, the weekend of Watkins Glen, my family went to the beach in Destin, Florida. So we went down there, and it's about an hour and a half from where Tim's at. And I don't know if you could imagine this or not. Wheelchairs and sand don't really mix well, so I didn't go down to the water but one day just for a few minutes. Spent most of my time at the restaurant/bar at our hotel we were at, just kind of sitting outside, mostly watching the Knoxville Nationals on my laptop. We even recorded an episode outside.
Yep. Yes,
Last episode, if you notice, I'm outside. Scott's not at his normal place either.
That was fun. We're all back to our normal places.
Timothy came down for a day. We got to hang out. Him, my parents, my brothers, sister-in-laws, and nieces and nephews. Tim got to experience the entire Grubbs family. So if he's still friends with us now, I think he can handle anything.
Yeah, he's going to bed early tonight. That's why he's not joining us. He's got class in the morning. I start classes on Wednesday, and you don't start classes.
I am graduated, so I can just sit here and laugh at you.
I know. Well, and that's
or
the thing.
Cheer you on.
I
should probably cheer you on.
Please do. Last year, you know all about that. But hey, that's the thing, fans. That Gavin does a lot of the work behind the scenes here for the B Main, with Tim and I being so busy as we are. And Gavin carries us quite a bit of the ways with all of our socials, getting stuff ready, making sure we're good to go. So Gavin does a lot. Gavin, I want to hear about your road trip. I haven't gotten to hear about it at all, and you got a lot in the notes here that I haven't heard about. I want to hear some of these stories.
So after we go up, I guess it was after we were in Destin. It was Sunday during the Watkins Glen race, which was SVG dominated. It was a snooze fest. That's all you really need to know.
Good job, SVG.
Also, shout out to Tristan McKee for stealing the ARCA win.
Yeah, seriously. I bet Brent Cruz was mad about that one when you talked to him.
He was, I would say, more defeated than mad.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned it to him, and I was like, man, that sucks. I hate that for you. It's like, I hate it for me, too. Kind of his attitude about it. But I think he moved on. He won the ARCA race yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's moved on. He's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so went to Atlanta for 2 days, went to the College Football Hall of Fame. Super cool. Really recommend it to anybody. Me and my mom starting a podcast about us traveling. It's called Row G. I'm going to link that in the description. If you want to hear more about that part of the trip, the College Football Hall of Fame, go watch that because this is a racing podcast. We're going to talk about the racing. But I did get to go to the College Football Hall of Fame. Super fun in
That's so
Atlanta.
cool.
Highly recommend. Then Thursday, Tuesday night, we go to Charlotte. Usually we stay with some friends. They were sick, so we stayed in a hotel, which was, you would think a Hampton Inn of all hotels is going to be pretty nice. You know, it's a solid hotel. The Hampton Inn is, I call it the Chick-fil-A of hotels. Usually reliable, usually pretty good. And we get there, and it's one of those hotels that, this was the one in Kannapolis. Do not stay at the Hampton Inn in Kannapolis. Other Hampton Inns I do recommend. There were some Q-tips in the floor, so I was like, oh, that's not good. Used ones, by the way, not clean ones.
Oh.
And then I noticed a few ants in the floor, but I was like, you know what? I'm being paranoid. It'll be fine. Laid in bed, super comfortable bed though, so that was good. Woke up a couple times in the night. That's normal. I don't sleep very well, but I felt a few things crawling on me. I was like, I'm just being paranoid. It will be okay. Now I had some ants crawling on me at night, so that wasn't very fun. Go back the next night, and they move us rooms to a room that doesn't have ants. Also, the hotel didn't have hot water. It was just a disaster of a hotel. I think everybody has a bad hotel experience that they can talk about, though. So that's mine.
I haven't had one yet.
Well,
at least
now
not to my recollection. Please don't say that.
You just jinxed yourself,
Please.
dude.
I don't know where it is. I stay in South Boston, but they are so great. The Fairfield Inn. They are a proud partner of South Boston Speedway. I think they're under the Hilton banner. They're great. They've always done great.
Scott typing up Hilton. I'm saying Hilton is good 99% of the time because
I
usually
guess I'm
family
proof of that right
go
now.
after. Yeah, Hilton, if you want to sponsor us, actually, I will not badmouth you ever again if you sponsor us.
It's not like we're getting off track.
We're getting off track. I went to Millbridge Wednesday night.
Which is where we got to talk about Larson and Owen.
Which is where we got to talk about
Larson
Kyle
and
and Owen Larson. Super, super good racing across all divisions. So Paul Wolf, Joey Logano's crew chief, his son Cade has been racing karts on road courses for years, since he was 5 or 6 years old, I believe. But he is starting to make the transition into oval racing. We saw them there, got to hang out with them. It was really cool to get to watch Cade race, get to talk to him, talk to Paul about, that transition from road courses to ovals, and on a tight oval such as Millbridge, that's dirt too. So, I mean, you can imagine how wild it is going from road courses on just a normal go-kart to hopping in a restricted micro at a dirt oval.
Yeah.
So, Cade he impressed me quite a bit for the little experience he has on ovals. He got second in the restricted race. It was just really impressive how smart of a driver he was. That's what I noticed, is he ran second most of the race. The kid that won definitely was a little bit faster, but he is such a smart driver at such a young age. Didn't make a mistake. Pretty much held his line perfectly every lap. So that's super cool. Shout out to Cade Wolf, Paul Wolf's son. They're awesome. But the two crazy races were the Outlaw Karts and the winged micro race. And then the non-wing race was good too. Sheldon Creed was there. But the one driver I really want to talk about, Wyatt Miller, Kelly Earnhardt's youngest son, Dale Jr.'s nephew. You thought we were done with the Earnhardts in NASCAR. We got another one coming.
Oh, yeah.
This kid, I didn't get to talk to Wyatt. I got to talk to Carson Elledge, his older sister, for a brief second. Got to talk to Kelly for just a very brief minute as well. Wyatt is a very entertaining driver.
Seeing what he does in jumpy trucks? I believe that.
Yeah, seeing what he does in jumpy trucks, seeing what he's done at the Tulsa Shootout, what I got to watch him do in a kart and in a non-wing micro, he's he might not win every race, but he is going to bring a highlight reel every time he gets in a car. And it's hard to be comparing a kid who's 13 to Cup drivers, especially when he's only ran 1 or 2 races in a full-size car. But his personality and driving style, he definitely falls in the same category as your Noah Gregsons, Clint Boyers, Jimmy Spencer, Kenny Wallace. He's that kind of driver.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
He might send it a little bit too hard. But a really funny moment was Carson Elledge, his older sister. This was in their heat race. She kind of pinned him on the bottom on the last lap, kind of gave him a little door going down the back stretch on the last lap and closed the door on him that he probably had the line. But, when it's your younger brother, you can push him around a little more than you can push everyone else around on the track. And Wyatt didn't like it too much. So on the cool down lap, he comes from about 10 feet back and just drives right through the back of her.
Oh my
Which
gosh.
was hilarious. It was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
But those shenanigans were probably the best part of Millbridge, as well as just getting to watch Kyle Larson absolutely dominate the winged race, like I said. I think Kyle Larson has been in every race I've been at this year. I mean, I've been to 2 dirt weekends. I've been to a race at Millbridge. I haven't been at a race that Kyle Larson's not at yet.
That's wild. That's a crazy stat.
I mean, the guy races everywhere. There's no one that loves racing more than Kyle Larson.
That's so true.
But we get to Richmond Thursday. This is my one day I get to be a fan. Not working for Victory Junction Thursday night. So we go to the Tour Mod race. Just hang out in kind of the fan area. I didn't have my credential yet. So the fan walk at Richmond, I don't know if you've been there. It's super cool. There's a fan walk inside the garage where you go kind of along the front bumper of all the cars.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get to see Austin Beers, our guy. I'm walking through the garage, and I told you I got to spend some time with Rajah when I was in Charlotte and Wilkesboro. I see him again. I talked to him for probably 10 minutes there by Connor Jones's car, and then we go out to this picnic area pre-race, all the drivers signing autographs. Corey LaJoy comes by. He sits down at the picnic table. Rajah sits down with us while everyone's signing autographs, and Corey comes by for a minute before. Just super cool getting to hang out with the two of them. They're teammates now, so getting to kind of be around them while they're getting to know each other better because they're going to be working with each other the rest of the season it was really cool. Just kind of be there for that. And it wasn't anything
you know them both. Yeah, so. And
it wasn't really like a crazy, oh, we're going to do some team building exercise. No, it was just guys hanging out, sitting at a picnic table before a race, But it was just super cool to get to hang out with them. The wheeling patch on Corey's fire suit kept falling off. He had it stuck on over his Cup Series patch, and he finally had enough of it. And he just grabs it and slaps it on my T-shirt. So now Corey LaJoy's wheeling patch from his fire suit is now on my laptop.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's so awesome.
That was Thursday. Got to see Austin Beers very briefly. Another great points battle. NASCAR mods. A 10-point gap for the championship lead right now. Austin Beers over Justin Bonsignor. What do you tell Austin Beers? If he is in his 3rd year on the tour. He's 21 years old, and you have maybe one of the best modified drivers of all time, 10 points behind you late in the season.
Yeah, I think.
How do you walk Austin through week to week?
Oh man, that is the thing. We just mentioned it in the Cars Tour about running for a championship, and I think.
But this time the roles are reversed.
Well, and I think this opens up a new mindset that you could take for either game. That each race is important, and that you have to look at the bigger picture, but you can only go about it one race at a time, and how that keys into the big picture. And so in this case for Beers, I'm thinking win.
Bonsignor will not make mistakes.
Exactly. Like this is a very different situation, and I think Beers has. I don't know how many mistakes he's made, if any. You're a rookie.
Top 10 every race.
Exactly, top 10. And
I mean, he's not a rookie. He's 3rd year, but still young.
Right. Sorry, young. And I think that top 10 every race, I think only outside of the top 5, like 1 or 2 times. I think that what it was. I think he has to win. he only has one win, and it's
Mhm.
come at the same place in the past 2 years. I think he needs more wins. I think
I
he
mean, he
needs.
competed for the win. He was the fastest car
I
on
know,
short
I
runs
know.
at Richmond the
It
entire
just
race, but the long runs,
you've got to put it
Lutz was
together.
able to catch him and get by him. And a second place finish when Bonsignore finishes, I think he ended up fourth or fifth. So a very, very similar situation to Landen Lewis and Connor Hall, only this time it's the young driver who has the small points cushion
Yeah.
and the experienced former multi-time champion is sitting there just lurking.
Well, and to my point, I think if I'm saying that about go and win, don't do
Mhm.
that at the expense of what you're doing now. They're in an
Mhm.
excellent position. What they are doing has put them in the lead of the championship. So don't risk what you're doing now for that win. If it's on the
Mhm.
table, go take it. Try to put races together to where you get the win because he's normally competing for the win in most cases. But don't let that screw up what you're doing now because what you're doing now has put you in the lead of the championship.
Yeah, and he's going back to some tracks that he's good at. We go to Thompson, I think, one more time, which has been a track. I think that's where he got a really good finish at this year. But you know that Bonsignore, like I just iterated again, Bonsignore's not going to mess up, and you just have to take it one race at a time, like you said. And we just said that Landen Lewis can't do that. Landen Lewis has to keep looking at the big picture because maybe, just maybe, Connor Hall will mess up. Bonsignore is not going to do that
Nope.
in this championship. And I just know, like we were just mentioning Timothy not being here. Do you know how much Timothy would be talking about how great a full season championship is right now?
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, that's when people say, well, we don't want drivers winning the championship 2 or 3 races before it's over. Okay, well, what about this year? You have the World of Outlaws. You have Kofoid steadily closing on David Gravel, who had a pretty big lead. And then you have what's going on in the modified tour with NASCAR.
This
And then in the Cars tour, I mean, you have 3 insane points battles right now.
this is why we try to tell people to watch oval racing. If you're not going to watch NASCAR, which
Watch
you can
some
say things about
smaller
the
oval
format, you can
racing.
say things about the format for NASCAR and all that stuff. It's still a close fight. But you go down, oh my gosh. I mean, they're battles galore. And I would say odds on, this pretty much happens most years. I'd say there are
Mhm.
very few years where there are just straight up runaways. And if there is, it's one series, and the all other series are pretty close. And I think this year we're
Mhm.
just being treated that, hey, it's all of them, all between everything with dirt and short track asphalt.
I guess ASA is pretty much the Cole Butcher show still.
I was gonna say that might be the only one. It is
Yeah.
the Cole Butcher show.
Um, but yeah, that's what I want to talk about Thursday was that modified race being great. Friday, the truck race was. I just talked about the story about Gio joking about Tim, all the Tricon guys being super cool guys, getting to hang out with them. Got to interview.
And I wanted Gio to make the playoffs so bad. I
Got
wanted
to
him.
interview Grant Enfinger. Speaking of truck drivers, did some promotional content with him for Victory Junction. I did 8 interviews on Friday.
Wow,
Grant Enfinger, super nice guy.
I believe
And
that.
he's a guy, he doesn't really have a big personality, but he has such a down to earth, regular guy personality. You can't help but not like him.
Yeah.
And those are the drivers that I think need a bigger spotlight because, yeah, you have guys like Denny Hamlin or Noah Gregson or trying the other huge personalities in Cup, Ryan Blaney. There are a lot of guys that I'm not saying they would be a great celebrity representative to NASCAR, or they would be the first person you chose to party with. But there are so many drivers that I think if I was just hanging out on my back porch drinking a few beers, these are the guys I want to hang out with. Grant
Yeah.
Enfinger's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Frankie Muniz, now we're talking about celebrities, got to spend some time with him. He ran a Victory Junction sticker on his car. He's doing some fundraising for them right now, which I got to be a part of. We kind of did a little call to action with him after we recorded an interview with him back in Charlotte. So just a little bit of promotional content with Frankie. Super fun. But I want to talk about the race Friday with Truck Series. Majeski dominated the first 2/3 of this race. I mean, just ran away, lapped all the way up to 11th.
Yeah, should have won.
Gets caught up in someone else's mess.
Yeah.
Gets kind of moved back in the pack, but not too far back. Has a little bit of damage.
The tiniest bit of damage.
A little enough that he wasn't the fastest truck anymore.
Nope.
But a little small enough amount that he was still in the top 3 or 4.
Yep.
I think he finished second.
I think it was top 3 for sure.
Yeah, top 3. But when that happened, do you know what time it is? It's Heim time.
It's Heim time. 7th win of the season. Insane.
And like we were just saying,
This
series where somebody that would be the truck series would be one where one driver has ran away with it, and now that's erased.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because the playoffs in NASCAR polarizing.
Yeah, I think that's
how does that make you feel about Heim's lead getting erased?
I think there's two sides of the coin, and you could argue either. One, you talk about eliminating that big lead. It's frustrating as a driver, but it makes it more challenging. You have to.
If he wins this championship, it will be even more impressive because he will have dominated all year, and then said, "Oh, NASCAR's going to take that from you. Let's re-rack him." And if he wins this championship, he essentially won 2 championships in 1 year.
Yeah. Well,
he said, "No, I'm taking this. This is mine. You're not going to have it."
He should have had it in 2023. And the whole everything happened with Carson Hocevar, and I mean he should have been a champion.
Can we not
already.
talk about maybe the worst NASCAR race of my lifetime right now?
Yeah, that was tough.
I'm sorry that race is so bad that it
I haven't thought about it until I watched Carson Hocevar's interview with Dale Jr. on the DJD. So, but anyway, talking about Heim, there's two sides to this argument, and one, you say the playoffs. It is unarguable that the playoff format makes it really, really interesting leading up to the championship for race fans. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
Can it possibly negate the legitimacy of a champion? I think it's likely. I think in looking at the full season and NASCAR, I believe they're working on this, and there is never going to be a right answer, but there is probably a better answer than what we have now. There's got to be a way that we can make the regular season more important and bring more gain to the playoff system and make it matter more. Because with the win in your in system, you win at Daytona, it doesn't matter if you finished last in every race, you're going to fight for a championship. Like you're going to have a tough start in the first round, but it doesn't matter what you do from that point on until the opening race of the playoffs. And I think that is what a lot of deep-hearted NASCAR fans don't like, is because you can say, you can make an argument with a guy like Joey, who got the win last year, I believe it was Atlanta, and didn't have the most stellar season, but with the format that we have, him and the team, they said this is the format, because you can't delegitimize. I don't know. That's a big word. You can't try to take away or dilute Joey's championship or other people's in the past 11 years of this playoff format, because guess what? That is the format. You can't say, this is who would have been if we would have the 36-point season championship. You can't say that, because it's not. It's not how we do the championship. But it doesn't matter. So it's not how people race. You don't race for all 36 races to lead up to your total points is going to be the champion. You race as, hey, we're going to the playoffs, and then it's race by race by race by race until you get to the final round in the championship round. So it's changed the way drivers race. So you just can't bring up that conversation. That was a long roundabout answer to say it needs to be worked on, but I think there is a great aspect to having the excitement that is the elimination rounds and the playoffs and the build-up to the championship four, but there is also a need for the regular season to be more important and come into more of an aspect when it comes to deciding and determining a champion.
And I'm going to ask you, and I'm asking you this in kind of a rhetorical way. I'm asking you as well as asking NASCAR this question. So we want the playoffs to make wins matter more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do 5 of Corey Heim's 6 wins matter?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, maybe you take away the win in your in system. A win is just more points.
And still keep playoff points, but don't have a win locking you in.
Maybe.
And that way, because your first win of the season right now has so much more weight than the rest of them.
I think the taking away the win in your in system could change a lot. I mean, because then you don't see, is Joey still in right now? Is Austin Dillon in? Probably not, because he was running out of the top 25.
Josh Berry, SVG.
Josh Berry, SVG, all this stuff. I think that's one thing that could more legitimize. I gotta stop going to this word because I gotta see if that is a word. Austin Cindric, would he be in? That might be one big change. That even making one change could more make the champion more important.
Yeah.
Legitimate. That is the word. Maybe that's the word of this episode. Legitimate.
And yeah, that's really what all this, I guess, Richmond Friday night boils down to is, sure, it's cool. Corey Heim won his 6th or 7th race of the year, but since he won one, okay, he just won another race.
Yeah.
And we can look, like you were just talking about Saturday, Austin Dillon's huge win. Speaking of the Dillons, I want to talk a funny story about Ty Dillion before we jump in. So in the garage Saturday afternoon, I guess, I was doing we were doing more promotional content interviews for Victory Junction that will be shared during the fall. Going to be a lot of fundraising promotions as well as kind of recruitment for volunteer promotions using drivers and questions, some career-based questions that I wanted to ask just to, kind of set the tone for the interview as well as, make it feel more legitimate. And then I asked him a lot of questions about giving. But anyway, Ty Dillion, we're getting there ready to interview him about 5 minutes before it's scheduled. The hauler door just slams open. And you see smoke rolling out like Willie Nelson had been in the hauler with him. And Ty just jump out of the hauler carrying something and turns the corner going behind the hauler. And whatever he was carrying may or may not have been on fire. And everybody's laughing and freaking out. And Ty comes back, runs in the hauler. The door's still open. They open both doors, comes back out. And I'm like, what just happened? And he goes, one of my crew guys was charging his GoPro, getting ready to have it on his helmet. And I don't know if it was the charger or the camera shorted out. And he just said, the GoPro, we all heard a really loud pop. And then the GoPro was on fire. So they had a fire in the 10-car hauler Saturday afternoon before the race. And
oh my gosh.
That really lightened the mood and made the entire process, easier. Because I've talked to Ty Dillion a few times, and everybody knows he's a super nice guy, but not known for a big, larger-than-life personality.
Yeah.
And so something like that, kind of just a fun icebreaker and a funny moment to just show the personality of these guys and kind of the human side of just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. Oh my
So that was really, really funny. And I'm going to talk about some of the Cup drivers I interviewed. The two coolest I got to be around were surprisingly coolest, I guess. Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe, both for similar reasons. They just seem like guys that are fun to hang out with and just genuinely good guys.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed when I asked the question about, what does giving mean to you as opposed to a normal generic question, is the ones that we're talking about the impact giving to people has on themselves and the gratification of knowing you're helping someone and not just saying, well, it's the right thing to do or give some answer that a PR person told them a long time ago in media training.
Right.
And there were two guys that I was like, okay, these are good dudes. Daniel Suarez also same way. Daniel Suarez, he's always been out of all the drivers I'd never interacted with, probably my, I guess, favorite as a fan. And if you are new to NASCAR and don't know who to root for, he's probably going to be one of the guys to tell you, if you like people that are just a good dude, you probably should be a Daniel Suarez fan.
Yeah.
And so getting to talk to him, super cool guy. But let's talk about the race, because I can tell the story pretty well from the point of view of the 22 team. I was watching from their pit box, being around them that whole time. And this is the point in the year, a lot of times, right before the playoffs, the 22 team figures something out. Something clicks. Well, Joey drove from 40th to 4th, and the pit crew, all of their pit stops except for one where they made an adjustment, were about 9.5 seconds, as opposed to around 10.5, 11 seconds like they've been running all year. No personnel changes, I noticed. Just something has clicked. The 22 team, it clicked.
Well, and only the 4th time in his career that he's started from the rear. Over 600 starts. And
that's including qualifying,
times.
not including, getting sent to the rear for a penalty.
Right. So,
but yeah, he didn't get to qualify, wrecked the car in practice. I think it was a blown tire, and they repaired the car. It wasn't a backup car.
Yeah.
But,
what about the race?
The race was great.
The tires,
tire fall off was awesome. I loved it.
I loved it too. There was so much passing. There were changes for the lead. There was chaos. You had to manage. Okay.
I'm not sure if they've completely taken off the rear diffuser for short tracks, but they have done something to it, or almost completely removed it, because at the All-Star race and at Richmond, the back of the cars look different, and under it they don't have the full diffuser like they've been having at the big ovals. I don't know if it's changed or just smaller or removed, but it has helped not making dirty air as hard on the car in second.
Well, and I wonder, I still see those front noses pitched up quite a bit. They're not slammed to the ground as they used to be in the Gen 6 era. They're still lifted up pretty high, trying to get air under there. That could just be because that's how they're set up, even if they take off the diffuser or not. But I think dirty air definitely did matter a little bit less at Richmond. And I wonder if that's the tires. And I wonder if that's because parts.
And you can go any groove on the track, too.
Yes. I mean, look at SVG. Ran the top line, finished 14th.
I mean, we're hyping up a 14th place finish, which I don't know how I feel about that.
That's his best finish.
But I want to say,
if
SVG figures out ovals,
oh my gosh.
If SVG figures out ovals, everyone else is in trouble. And there's nothing they can do about it.
I mean, look at the difference from the beginning of the season. I mean,
to now.
Yeah.
He went from running with, and no offense to these two guys, running with Riley Herbst and Cody Ware, to now he's a 15th to 20th place car.
Right. Yeah. Keep a watch. Keep a watch on SVG, and I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people recognize that finish. I love what the tires did. I think this is a direction we need to keep going. I think there's only so much the tires can do. I think Goodyear has continually said this is the softest that they can be. So I think changes with the car have got – this is only the tires, and we've talked about it. We won't get into it. Dale Jr., a lot of other podcasts are really starting to talk about it, and I hope NASCAR is hearing it. But I thought we got a great product at Richmond, and I'm proud of NASCAR with whatever they did, Goodyear and everybody, because it was a great race.
It was an amazing race. Shout out to Austin Dillon for –
they have it at Richmond.
We did not like the way he won it last year at all. No. Nobody did.
And not just because of like taking out Joey. I think there's a little bit of bias on that. We're not Denny Hamlin fans, and that was not okay either. But just if it had been anyone interchangeably in those situations, I think a lot of us and a lot of people would have had the same thought.
And to see him, I'm going to give him the shout out for coming back to the same track and having such a good race and doing it cleanly and proving, okay, yeah, that win where I did some pretty stupid things, it wasn't a fluke. It might have been a stupid win, but it wasn't a fluke.
Right.
And to come back to the same track where I don't know what he has figured out there and why he is just amazing at Richmond and meh everywhere else. But he has that track figured out. It's always fun to see a new winner, different winner than normal. And I felt good about it. And Team Penske,
yeah, I mean, they deserve to win.
All three cars and the Wood brothers were in the top 10.
Look, we said it after the whole debacle in IndyCar about Penske. There was a lot of movement. There was a lot of changes, and Penske did
Shout
not
out,
run
speaking of Indy,
great.
shout out to Alex Palou, locked up the championship.
Already?
Yeah, it's locked up.
Are you serious?
They only have 2 races left, but it's
Really?
locked up.
Oh my
Yeah, they only have 2
gosh.
left. 2 ovals.
That's insane. I think it's his 4th championship.
Yeah,
Golly.
he's amazing. Amazing talent.
But talking about Penske, we saw it at Charlotte. They were just nowhere. And I think Joey and Cindric had a lot of struggles throughout the summer. I think Blaney and his team had a lot less struggles. But I think all of Penske as a collective, that whatever was going on behind the scenes, it's out of their minds. And it's out of everything going on because they're back. And it's a good time to be back, like you said. It's a great time for Joey. I can't say I'm too surprised that we're seeing them find something different because playoffs are right around the corner, and that's where we know that Joey normally really turns it on.
And I want to point out, like I said, something clicked. And I don't know how much time you or other fans or just anybody spend around like the pit box or around a team during a race. I know you've been around Timothy's pit during his races, but you can tell what positive body language looks like on a race team and what everybody is feeling and just the energy in a pit when everything is working perfectly. Everybody's on the same page and you have confidence again, especially when you haven't had it for the middle third of the season.
Yeah.
And every person on that team has confidence right now. And it just felt good.
Yeah.
And it felt like the 22 team was going to win the race there towards the end of stage 1, start of stage 2, before the one caution where he had a hole in his tire and lost a lot of tire pressure. It was not quite flat, but there was a run in the middle of the race where he had a hole in his tire, a leak, slow leak, and lost a handful of spots. But before that, it kind of felt like they were going to win.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I really wanted to see a win from him, obviously, but they're on the right track. I think
Last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about the big one?
That
Huge
was
wreck.
crazy. That was crazy.
I mean, you can blame that on 6 or 7 different people, honestly,
100%.
because every person involved in that wreck made the wrong decision at that time.
Yeah.
It was just a
Pretty
bunch
much.
of little mistakes that washed not the entire, but 8, 9 cars up into the outside wall.
Yep.
And I mean, it was just some of those I was watching. I was like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah,
But no, it was a great race. I loved it. I had such fun time. I love night races. I think they're the best.
I do too. I wish we had more of them.
I do too, and I wish we really had more of them in the fall because I know you can't. People are like, well, you can't compete with college football on Saturday nights during the fall. Okay, well, then why are we trying to compete with the NFL on Sunday afternoons?
Right. There's just
And
you're gonna be competing with football in any standpoint. Like it's just gonna happen.
yeah, so I mean, I think having night races in the late summer and early fall, it just feels right.
Oh yeah. Like when I went to Martinsville for the first time in the Xfinity race on Saturday night, and that's not a cup race obviously, but it was a night race at Martinsville. Oh, it was amazing.
Right.
It was amazing.
Or think about the sprint car race you went to this year at Magnolia.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
I mean, being in a night race
under the lights at Sobo, bro. Oh.
Night races are just. I love night races.
Me too. I wish we had more of them at the big level. Wish we could find a way to do that, but that's going to do it for us.
NASCAR playoffs coming up.
Oh, my gosh.
Rounding up. This week we're going to Daytona, then the playoffs start. That's what we're having to look forward to be talking about next episode. We're going to have some reactions and thoughts on the way the playoffs are starting to shake out. And then in High Limit this coming weekend, Gold Cup at Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico, California. $100,000 to win, kind of a showdown between the High Limit guys and your West Coast guys. The World Outlaws are still racing, so the Outlaws are not going to be there. It's not going to be a full national show. We're going to have High Limit versus West Coast. It's going to be fun to see who wins that showdown, as well as a huge ARCA debut coming up in 2 weeks. Jade Avidizian making her long-awaited ARCA debut at Coin.
Well, and I'll be off to Sobo again this week. You'll get to hear all the stories about that. And
I haven't even heard how your Sobo weekend was.
I know it was great. Derek
I-
Vance Jr. got his first win, and hey, I've hyped him up, and he's out there doing things. So hopefully we'll get to talk about him some more. But he's a driver. Continue to look at him. But we'll get to talk about Sobo, and we'll get to talk more about Sobo in the next episode. That was episode 16. Thank you, race fans, for tuning in.
Thank y'all.